back to another episode of Uncorked, the Welsh Wine Podcast. I'm Jamie, the curious wine guy.
I'm Sara, the wino expert.
And I'm Angela, and I'm the historian.
Today, we're going to look at red wine in Wales, which Angela and I were chatting beforehand thinking, thank God, because we're both red wine drinkers.
It's about time, yeah. We need that red wine represented now.
We do, we do.
It's time.
We're going to hopefully dispel some of the myths, look at what to expect from red wine in Wales, what sort of things we grow, and hopefully kind of compare a little bit from some of the Welsh stuff that you may not have heard of and compare it with things you may have heard of that you might buy in a shop and normally drink, yeah?
Yeah.
So we're also going to have a little bit of food today as well. And we've got some banging cheese.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So we're going to get to the cheese later on. We're also going to have some probably really, really relevant history from Angela.
Wine adjacent?
Wine adjacent history.
Love it.
I mean, everything I do is somewhat tangential.
That's good. We enjoy the
That's why I'm
history.
here.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we'll be drinking wine through the episode,
Yes.
which you've probably noticed in previous episodes.
There's a pattern.
So what are we drinking today then? So we're drinking the Llaethliw Red.
Yes, the 2020 vintage. We've had the white. We did the white in a previous episode. And now we're on to a Rondo, which we'll go into into more detail a bit later on.
You'll have seen we've done a fair few whites. We've done some fizz. We've done some rosé. And as we said, about flipping time, we've done some red.
Have we actually done a rosé?
Yeah,
Yes.
we did the Pinot Noir rosé from Conwy.
Oh, right. Okay, of course we have. Yeah.
Which
I
I'm
like
pretty
that.
sure I said was the favourite one that I've
Yeah,
done so
right.
yeah, it
far.
was
Yeah.
so far.
It was really good. Okay, so red wine in Wales,
Yes.
is it common? What do we know about red? What do we expect from red wine in Wales?
Well, I think that's a really interesting question because the majority of people who come into the shop, first of all, they ask, oh my gosh, there are wines in Wales in the first place. Surely we're not making red wines. Well, actually, there are more red wines than you would think. And the styles vary, but the three main grape varieties, we've covered hybrid varieties, haven't we, in a previous episode? And it is one of the reasons that does help us grow red grapes to make red wines in Wales. But the three main grape varieties we have are Pinot Noir, that we've already talked about, Rondo and Regent. Now, I'm going to go into those a little bit later on. But the style of wine that we expect in Wales, so we've got a cooler climate, we've talked about that, we've covered the north and how it sounds impossible, but it's not impossible to grow grapes. But the main styles that you should kind of expect is that they're going to be lighter in body, they're going to have higher acidity, and they're going to have lower ABV.
So is that like alcohol?
Oh, yeah, sorry. ABV just stands for alcohol by volume.
Oh, right. Literally.
Yeah,
Alcohol.
literally, yeah, the alcohol by
I'm
volume.
glad you asked.
Sorry, it seems like a dimwit question, but
No, not at all.
you see that, but it because you see in hard alcohol proof, and proof isn't
Yeah.
percentage. So I just wanted to make, okay, cool.
So the main thing I teach people when we do wine tastings at the shop, for example, is the warmer the climate, the riper the fruit, and the higher the sugar levels, which means there's more sugar to convert to alcohol. So you're going to have really ripe fruit flavors, and you're going to have higher alcohol. So it's the absolute opposite in a cooler climate. So it's going to be, like I said, higher acidity. They're going to have bright, fresh fruit flavors, more on the tarty red side than the ripe dark fruit, if that makes sense.
And I tend to like the ripe dark fruit. That's my go-to. I like a red wine that kicks
Me
you in
too.
the face, that you almost have to chew. It's
Me too.
so full.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to try the red when we get there today.
Yeah.
This is going to be nice. I quite like a tarty red. I quite like, if you've ever heard,
You said tarty red. I let it go the first time. Tarty red. Okay, great.
I mean,
Like lipstick.
is that a preference on a dating profile? I'm looking for a tarty red.
but have you ever heard of the wine description, crunchy red fruits?
No.
I've heard red. I don't think I've heard crunchy, but I've definitely heard red fruits because I know there's red fruits and then there's dark fruits, and I
I
tend to
know
go
that
for-
there's red fruits and dark fruits.
I know red fruits.
Guys, did you know? But in terms of describing wines,
Strawberries, raspberries, red currants.
and then now when I say dark fruits as well, I think of certain ciders where they're ooh, strongbow dark fruits. It's
God,
that's
yeah.
not what I mean at all. But my preference, if I see, I think we've talked in past episodes about how there's tasting notes on some wine menus. I know to look for dark fruits,
Yeah.
not red fruits
Yeah.
for my palate.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So in cooler climates, you do tend to have more, the flavour profile tends to lean towards more red fruits than dark fruits, and the tannin levels tend to be much lower as well, which just means it's kind of more palatable. Tannins are a natural compound that can be found in the stems, the skins, and the seeds of grapes. So it's more of a texture than a flavour. And it feels like a drying sensation on the tongue, your gums or the cheeks, kind of like that rough feeling you get from drinking black tea, which is exactly...
It's kind of like astringent in a way.
Yeah, and it can add a bit of bitterness, but it's not necessarily a flavour, and it can feel dry or powdery or even sticky. I know, depending on the style of wine.
Powdery or sticky.
Yeah, I hate describing tannins as sticky.
Sounds like you're describing makeup.
It is. It's a bit gross.
It's obviously a thing, though, isn't it? Because I love all of those things you just listed.
So all those bitter flavours, the drying sensation, and tannins are only found in red wines, in red grapes specifically.
Right. Yeah.
You do get them in orange wines, but I think that's for another episode. There's no need to deep dive into it. But that's why you don't get the same drying sensation in white wines. And so in cooler climate places, you don't get the same level of tannins. Right. It's not as bitter. Okay. So if anything, they're going to be juicier. So some grape varieties have naturally high tannins, like Cabernet Sauvignon. I know you like a Cab Sauv, don't you?
I do.
Absolutely love a Cab Sauv. Or a Nebbiolo, while others will have naturally low tannins, like a Gamay, which is what Beaujolais wine is made of, or a Frappato from Sicily, if you've not tried a Frappato.
You've got a really nice one in the shop, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's a wild,
I love it.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And I always describe it as crunchy red, like cranberry, wild strawberry. So I thought, I want to explain why I say crunchy.
I think you've not mentioned that to me because every time I'm in your shop, you're like, oh, here's a red for you. And you're basically handing me port. Like a step below.
Just a rosé.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned Rondo and you mentioned Regent.
Yes.
Tell us about Rondo then, because that's a bit of a mad name, isn't it?
Yeah, Rondo.
Like the music?
No, like the grape.
Okay.
You've mentioned this a couple of times.
Yeah.
What are you on about with the music?
Right. So Rondo's like a classical music format. I guess it's like a formula for music. So, and there's like some sort of famous pieces as well that I think like if you know classical music, you'll know it. You just wouldn't think it's like, oh, that's
Sara
a rondo.
and I are huge fans, aren't we?
Well, yeah, we're
going to the opera tomorrow. Actually,
yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So it's basically like a formula for musical structure in classical music where there's like a main motif that drops in and out because there's a different motif that it alternates with. So if the main motif is A, it'll be like A, and then maybe like there'll be a variation to something that we'll call B, and then it'll go back to A, and then it'll be a variation that'll go to C, and like there's like
sounds complicated.
It's not that complicated, but there's like if I could sing, I'd sing you a bit. But there's like a famous Mozart piano piece that's a rondo that like. Oh, I could try.
It does ring a bell.
That's that. Yeah, that like. Yeah, that one.
Oh, no way is it that
that's
one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, no, that's a rondo. So it follows that formula of like A is the main motif, and then it like diverts to B, and then comes back to A. It's kind of like the structure of this podcast, actually. To be fair, it's kind of like the main
trying
motif
to move on.
Yeah, and then I take us
back.
Yeah, exactly. And then like Jamie will take us off again. We come back. So like Sarah's A, and then I'm at B tangent, and then we are a rondo.
Definitely C.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what a rondo is, and I don't know if there's any like etymological thing going on there that like makes the grape similar.
And that's what comes into your head every time. Sarah says rondo.
Yeah, because I think like I don't think I'm from a working class background, yet I still know what a rondo is. So I'm just
don't have to be middle class, upper class to like classical music.
It's true. Mozart's
or wine.
Mozart's the guy who wrote the alphabet song, so I mean he's not that posh.
Anyway, let's go back to the wine, shall we?
Yeah, so Rondo is a dark-skinned hybrid variety. It was created in the 1960s by crossing an Austrian variety with Mozart.
Wasn't he Austrian?
Oh, he was, yeah. So I was like sitting back drinking wine.
I'm looking at you.
Yeah, actually, there's a good, wait a minute.
Then maybe that's what it was. So it's a cross.
My God.
So it's a crossing of an Austrian with a Russian hybrid variety.
I don't know who wrote the first rondo. I'm not that much like... I'm a historian of crime in Wales. I'm no idea. But I love that connection.
So this grape variety that, we have no idea why it was named Rondo, potentially because of some sort of Mozart connection. Probably not. So it was actually first commercially planted in Ireland in the 1990s. And it now grows in quite a few European countries, including Denmark, Wales, obviously, England, the Netherlands, and Sweden. And it has a high resistance to frost and downy mildew. I didn't realise there were so many different kinds of mildew. Let's never talk about it ever again.
It's probably going to keep coming up.
Yeah. But the grapes produce wines with a really deep ruby colour, and you get some summer fruits and lots of blackberry and cherry. So you kind of get a mixture there of the red and black. But what I really like about this grape variety is it's got a really thick skin. And so the thicker the skin...
Unlike me.
So the thicker the skin, the deeper the colour, the darker the colour, which is really surprising for a cool climate red, which I think is quite exciting for Wales.
If I was to go into a shop and
My shop specifically?
hopefully your shop,
Okay.
but say I'm not around in your shop, I sometimes go to other shops, don't tell anyone.
Other shops are available.
Other shops are available. What would I compare this to then, Rondo? So if I'm, the ones the ones that people know that they buy on a daily basis in a supermarket, what would a Rondo compare with?
I think the closest thing I can compare it to would be a fruity Malbec. So I'm talking really young in style. It would have to be from a warm climate, funnily enough, talking about the difference between warm and cool climate. But I think it would have to be from a warm climate. In Argentina, for example, the best Malbecs grow at high altitude sites, and that provides a cooling influence. But then because of that, the grapes end up being really high quality and age-worthy. And not to say that the grapes grown in Wales are not high quality at all, but these high-altitude wines are age-worthy to the point where they will often mature in barrels, they will have higher tannin content, and they're a little bit more complex, whereas we're talking about the juicy, kind of fruitier styles of Malbec.
So do higher tannins mean better aging? Like are like higher tannin grapes better suited for like barrel aging?
Yeah, you need a couple of different components for a wine to be good enough to age, and tannins and acid are two of the main components. So if you've got no tannin in the wine, then it's meant to be drunk young. That's why I'm saying young Malbec.
We said in a previous episode that with white wine, we don't age it. We try and drink it young, not all...
More often than not, yeah.
So, but with reds, obviously, now you're saying if it's got the tannins, you can age it.
Yeah.
But not all reds.
No.
Not all reds either.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to get to.
It's a complicated tapestry.
It's almost like we should have a podcast about it.
Yeah. No, because I did say to my friend Dav the other day, who he had a really expensive bottle of white wine in the house.
Yeah.
And I remember when he bought it, it was years ago.
What was it?
Oh, God, I can't remember.
But like a champagne, or was it
No,
still...
it was white. And I think it was a natural white, and he spent a lot of money on it.
Oh, no.
And it was sitting in, and I said to him, I was like, oh, I remember when you bought that. That's going to be awful.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, no, we'll see. And then he drank it. I think he put most of it on, I think.
It would have been vinegar by that point.
Yeah.
There is that assumption that like wine equals aging.
Yeah. And not so much.
Oh, poor Dav.
Yeah.
Learn that the hard way.
What a shame.
The next one that you referenced was Regent.
Yes.
Which is a very clam name, right?
Well, just to be clear, we're not talking about the future or then future George IV.
Oh, to bring it down to my level, the Blackadder, Prince George.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
that guy.
Hugh
Also,
Laurie.
that guy. Also, the guy who gave us the name of the era that gave us Jane Austen and like the architecture of Bath.
Regency.
The Regency, yeah exactly. Defeated Napoleon without lifting a finger because he was too busy eating like roast beef and living a good life.
You seem to have something against him.
No, well, I mean,
He's
we
a
can have
hilarious character in Blackadder.
I mean, we can. There should be a completely different podcast from my views on the monarchy, but that's
Mine too.
different thing altogether. But yeah, so Regent is a grape and not the future George IV.
Correct.
Great.
There we go. If I mention any words that you don't know, I'm likely going to be talking about grapes. Let's just put a blanket thing out there now.
And I'm not posh, but Mozart and kings. Anyway, I'm not that kind of historian.
Regent wines, similar to Rondo, are very colour intensive, red wines. They're obviously very resistant to fungal diseases. I'm not going to go into... Actually, this is the downy mildew again.
You love mildew.
I'm just going to talk to you about mildew for the rest of the year.
I think Sara actually loves a mildew-resistant grape. if we're getting technical
she
here.
does.
I mean, who doesn't?
She talks about it all the time.
I do talk about it all the time.
It's central to her job.
But these reds are great.
Excuse me, could I get a mildew-resistant Merlot, please? If you have one of those, I've been told it's a good thing.
Basically, can I have a wine that's not shit and you have a mildew-resistant wine?
Can someone please send me a video of them going into a very swanky restaurant, and when the sommelier comes over and says, "What would you like from the menu?" I want someone to ask, "What kind of mildew-resistant reds do you have on offer today, sir?"
Do you have any grapes,
Or madam?
Do you have any grapes that are resistant to root munchers?
And these wines tend to have flavours of like cherries and blackcurrant, so not too dissimilar from the Rondo. To be fair, I actually find it quite difficult to tell the difference, and I've done quite a bit of judging.
Between Rondo and Regent?
Yeah, I find them quite difficult to tell apart, and I guess because we don't have one region where Rondo thrives and one region where Regent thrives. You know, like Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot in Bordeaux, you get to know those wines quite well.
Yeah.
So then you start to be able to pick them out. And we don't really have one specific region that has that. So for me, it's like, oh, it's one of those grapes again.
It's a Ron Gent.
That's
the next hybrid.
Ron Gent sounds like a character, like from Anchorman. So, fun fact that I absolutely can't verify because I got it off the internet and there are no sources cited, and it's not even on Wikipedia where they do sometimes give a reference. But my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the Regent grape variety was named after the Regent diamond, which was mined in 1701 in an Indian mine. And it was a 140 carat diamond. And this diamond was used in some of the coronation jewels where I've read it was either like a coronation sword or crown for the monarchy, I think in France.
Oh, wow.
But it's associated with, obviously a diamond that size isn't just going to end up in some like geezer's pocket. Like it's going to be associated with royalty, and it ended up in the crown jewels of some European monarch.
Wow.
So you could say that the Regent grape, given its name, is the crown jewel in the European hybrid mildew-resistant grape varieties.
Oh, well done.
That's very niche.
That was beautiful.
The look on both of your faces, like, where is she going? Like, I know I got on tangents, but in my mind, if you give me time, I can always circle back.
Should we get that on a T-shirt?
The crown
Regent. What did you even just say?
the crown jewel. I can't remember the exact. I'm sorry.
We'll go back. We'll get it printed on a T-shirt. I love it.
What are we going to compare Regent with then for us people who have never heard of Regent? If you go into a shop, what is it similar to?
I'd say the closest thing would probably be a young Merlot, something with not too much tannin. It's kind of got a similar fruit profile if we're going to look at some of the darker fruits there. So yeah, that's what I would go for.
As we're doing a bit of food this time, what would you pair Rondo and Regent with then, do you reckon? What would you... Yeah, because I don't want to go too pretentious and start talking about,
crown jewels, the monarchy, Mozart's
food,
rondos.
but just like,
can't be too fancy.
What does it not clash with? What would it be nice with?
Yeah, so I think Regent specifically goes well with just a classic Welsh Sunday roast. If you've got the family around and you want to have loads, just mostly gravy,
soup.
I am soupy with my Sunday roast. To be fair, I'm all about the wet.
This wine is great with a gravy chaser.
Gravy chaser also goes well with cured meats, pâtés, that kind of thing. With a mature Welsh cheddar and Caerphilly cheese, which we're going to try with the Llaethliw in a minute. And I actually hate pairing red wine with cheeses, which we can talk about in depth in another episode maybe. Because I feel like the tannins and really strong flavours can overpower the cheese. But like we were talking about earlier, the Welsh reds tend to be softer with kind of more fruit. So they tend to go better with these cheeses. Also great with barbecue Pringles. If you want to give that a go.
Love that.
Yeah, that's for...
Who doesn't love a barbecue Pringle?
That's for Regent. And then Rondo is really similar, but I would add sausages, a classic pizza, and paprika-flavoured crisps.
Ooh, Yes.
Again, I love a paprika crisp.
We were talking, me and Sarah, earlier on about crisps, and I was saying, like, it's really good that you're going to talk about crisps a bit, because, like, who doesn't love a bag of crisps with a bottle of wine?
Yeah,
like,
right?
It's like no sort of fancy wine expert would say, oh, so I'll have nice and crisp. But that's exactly what you eat it with, isn't it? Drink it with.
Yeah.
Sarah does wine tastings that are crisp and wine pairings, and they are phenomenal, and they absolutely, I've been to a few of them.
Yeah.
They absolutely work. Like wine and crisps, it is like... Yeah. It's elite, top tier.
Because it's salty and it's like a little bit fatty.
Yeah.
And, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Crisps go, I mean, yeah, it's such a good pairing.
We've done two of the big beasts, two of the big well-known grapes that we grow in Wales. Mm-hmm. But as we know, Wales has all sorts of experimentation going on, different things happen.
Yeah.
Are there other reds?
Yeah, and I think one of the best things about Wales, we've kind of mentioned before, is that we don't have one particular style. We don't have specific rules or regulations, which just means that there's a lot of innovation. We've got some mavericks in the Welsh wine industry. And so there are lots of different red wines available. So, for example, White Castle in Abergavenny, which we've mentioned before, they've planted Cabernet Franc, which is a grape variety from the Loire. Pretty sure it's the first Cabernet Franc red produced in Wales, which is absolutely insane.
That's fancy.
And annoyingly, it's out of stock at the moment. So we're waiting for the newest vintage release, as it obviously sold out really, really quickly. People didn't think that Cabernet Franc could even survive in Wales. And then we've got Wynyard Rocks. Have you heard of them?
No.
Can't say I have.
Oh, they're great. I'm gonna take you there. They've got a really lovely little cottage that you can rent out, and it's right next to the vineyard. And yeah, we're gonna go. We're gonna stay.
Is that?
That's in Radnor in Powys.
Yep.
So that's going to be great. And they make a sparkling red called Llaethliw Rondo. So it is made with Rondo, but it's an ancient method of making sparkling wines. It's really, really funky.
I really like sparkling red, actually.
You do?
Yeah.
It is.
Lambrusco.
And it's not too dissimilar, actually. It is, I think you'd like it. So it's a low intervention vineyard with lots of interesting wines. I think we're going to enjoy going there. Obviously, Pinot Noir is one of the most widely planted grape varieties. We've already talked about it. Anchor Hill, they make that Blanc de Noir. So it's like a champagne style made with Pinot Noir. We've got
White.
Del.
It means white of black.
White of black.
White of black.
Exactly.
It sounds so much better when it's in a different language.
We need a cauldron. The white of black.
Blanc de Noir. Or white to black.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't have the same ring, does it?
Should we market it? Should we do like
Gwyn o ddi?
Yeah.
Oh, Gwyn.
Gwyn o ddi.
Gwyn o ddi.
Gwyn o ddi. That sounds better than white or black.
Pinot Noir can make a whole range of different wines. We've talked about this before. Sparklings, rosés, lots of different reds. So Anchor Hill, the Del, White Castle, Conwy, among many others are using Pinot Noir. And then we've got Hebron. So they ferment their low intervention reds in amphora brought back from Spain.
So amphora, am I right in thinking those are like the ancient style clay pots that like the Romans used as well?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've probably seen more of them in Caerleon Museum than
I can't say
have seen.
I've ever seen an amphora, but
Have you not?
I don't think not in person.
Literally every museum you go to where there's Roman stuff is always amphorae.
No, then I probably saw it. Just walk right past.
Even down in Caerleon.
So there are many vineyards in Wales at the moment practicing low intervention winemaking, and it's really exciting. And we are going to look more into those and shine a light on them as we continue with the podcast. But Hebron, it happens to be one of the vineyards that we met, didn't we?
Yeah, but we haven't been to the vineyard.
Not yet. We will go.
Whereabouts is the vineyard?
Carmarthenshire, kind of, I guess, towards the Whitland area. I'm not very good with my geography.
North or south of the Lanska line?
Of the what line?
The Lansker line. I mean, fair enough. It's not like it's not a thing we really talk about. It's niche. Yeah. It's niche, but it's a name that's been given to the line that kind of cuts through Pembrokeshire, Carmarthenshire, where like on the south end of it, the south side of it, that's where you get the Little England beyond Wales, and above that is more Welshy. So it's like it's an old-fashioned term that describes the invisible boundary of linguistic and cultural difference. It has I don't know how much of a history you want here, but there's a lot.
It kind of runs from Haverfordwest to Tenby, basically.
Yeah, kind of like from
across,
exactly. So,
Right.
But Whitland is north of it, so so it's in the English speaking bit. But to be fair, it's a line that's changed quite a bit over the centuries.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not like back a few hundred years ago, it was more sort of at like the foot of the Preselles, but now we'd see it as like further south. And there's like there's lots of like interesting history behind it, because there's not like a single thing that defines why there's that linguistic and cultural line. It's mainly linguistic, but of course language influences culture as well. It's because, I mean, if we go back like several hundred years, there was like a wave of Irish migration, and then there were Vikings who came over, and then there were the Normans, and then the Flemish, and then you have the Tudors but being a bit more administrative with their introduction of English into Wales, and it hit certain frontier bits.
They would come in on the coast, right?
So not the English bit, but the Irish, the Viking, and the Flemish, and the Norman is what came in that way. Partly either because it was like easy access, or because it was seen as like a frontier that you needed to defend. Similar stuff happened in Cornwall as well. So there's just several waves of linguistic influence that prevented that part of Wales from being overly Welsh. So if you go there, there's like a lot of the place names and a lot of language styles there. They're more English. They're actually not influenced much by Flemish now, but it is far more English. And Landsker is actually an Anglo-Saxon term, and it's used more in the southeast of England in place names. So it refers to like a set boundary between, say, like between fields or something like that. But then 20th century linguists said this is a useful term. Although I was looking in the archives at Aberystwyth, and I have found Landsker used in an earlier record from the late 16th century, but it was referring to a boundary. So it's just it's just used as language, as a boundary. Yeah. So it was like it was in a land agreement, and it was used saying like there would be a Landsker in this field.
So can I say, listen, I am setting my Landskers right now. Please do not approach me.
There you go. Yeah,
use it in modern terms.
Yeah, but Landskers are for ourselves, not for others.
Well, the most fascinating thing about it is it's still with us now. So you'll know you go to Pembrokeshire, you go down to the south. As you said, the place names are a bit more anglicised or a bit different, and people's accents are, sound a bit English, and there aren't many Welsh speakers. Whereas north of the Landsker line, so bits of Carmarthenshire up to Ceredigion, high Welsh speaking population.
Some of like the highest, like it's kind of, you just go not that far north of it, and it's proper like Welsh heartland.
And you're literally like, how small that area is. From one town to the next, the accents change, the Welsh language population changes, and it's absolutely fascinating that is now current Wales from hundreds of years back. From the various histories that you just mentioned.
So this is a study from the 1990s that was looking at memorials, like church memorials, so gravestones and those sorts of things, north and south of the Landsker line, just to see the way that language changed. Because language is dynamic. We have this sense that like an area would have been Welsh, and then it would have been Anglicised, and English was stamped out, and it's not like that at all. It's far more dynamic. And what the study found is that around 1850, south of the Landsker line, well, actually both north and south, there was a slight shift back towards Welsh. It was minor, but there was, because there had been a process of Anglicization happening, because through the Acts of Union, it's not that Welsh was outlawed, but if you spoke English, you would have more opportunities in government. So there was an incentive to speak English if you could be educated. But around 1880, this study found that there was actually a shift in what was written, sort of the opening line on headstones. So instead of saying in memory of, it would be corf am, so in memory of. And there was a shift around 1850, and they associated that with the Welsh revival and the Welsh evangelical movement, which gave the Gospels in Welsh. So you actually, even south of the Landsker line, there was a slight shift. So language is very fluid, but the Landsker line is this line basically through like South Carmarthenshire and sort of Pembrokeshire way, that where you get this south of it is more English and north of it is very, very Welsh.
So the moral of the story is we grow a lot of different kinds of red wine in Wales.
Yeah, because we're cool and we have variety.
Now to the fun part. We're going to taste the wine and eat the cheese.
Like we haven't been doing that this entire time.
Okay, so we've got two fantastic cheeses to go with this wonderful wine.
Yep.
And it's from a new neighbour of yours in the Corp in Canton, where your business is.
Yeah, there's a new deli that's just moved in called Enoteca Worldwide, and they've got charcuterie and cheeses and all kinds of delicious things. So yeah, it's well worth a visit. If
Sounds like that's
you're in
like
the area.
a well-paired neighbor for a wine shop.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good point.
I'm already thinking of it in a selfish way. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, we've kind of already done that because we have wine from your shop and some cheese and charcuterie from Enoteca.
Yes.
We've got a Thelma's Original Caerphilly cheese from Causkenarth, which is delicious.
Yeah.
And we've got a Harvard Original Welsh Mature Cheddar.
Oh yeah.
It's nice, like the young Caerphilly and the mature cheddar. It's a nice little balance there.
Well, it's exactly what I said earlier, that a Rondo goes really well with a Welsh mature cheddar and a Caerphilly cheese. What are we thinking about the pairings so far?
I'm actually surprised by the wine. I was expecting something a lot lighter. And like if we're talking about color, I was thinking something like a ruby or red that you could kind of see through. And this looks more full-bodied and it tastes more full-bodied. It's not like, I guess it's sort of like medium-bodied, but I really like it. Like it's refreshing, but still quite like complex. Like there's still a lot going on there. And I personally think it pairs best with a Caerphilly. Although it, like I was just saying, it seems fuller than I thought. It's still not really, really full-bodied. It's nice and refreshing. So I think it cuts through that, like, or pairs with the youthfulness of the Caerphilly, where it's not like that sort of heavy
Punchy, mature cheddar.
Yeah, it's like neither of them are punchy, but both of them, like I could eat and drink this for days.
Yeah.
Because it's quite creamy, that Caerphilly.
Yeah.
And it's not overly crumbly, which is maybe to do with it's a really hot day today, isn't it?
It is, but like I was thinking that for Caerphilly, this isn't crumbly at all. But like they're not flavors that kick you in the face. So like hours later, I'll still be here eating and drinking this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm going to be honest again, as you'd expect from me now.
I would hope so.
I was sceptical about Welsh red wine.
Of course you were.
And
you and me both, mate.
Yeah. And we're proper red drinkers. And I genuinely think this is really nice. And it is it is light, but it is fruity, and there's something at the end. There is a bit of tannin at the end, I think. And with these two lovely cheeses, and I agree with Angela, I think the Caerphilly, which is quite delicate but creamy and tasty, with that fruity wine, creamy cheese, fruity wine, absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
And we've got some yummy crackers, and we've got a little bit of grapes, bit of olives.
I mean, she always makes a great cheese board.
I love a cheese board.
She does do a good cheese
I
board.
love a cheese board.
Yeah.
Can you just put that on like my headstone?
I was thinking on your LinkedIn, actually.
Makes a great cheese board.
Hire me.
It will cut through all the academia.
There we go. Yeah. I'll take it. I just get it tattooed. Makes a great cheese board.
Very good. So, Sarah, you're enjoying both of them?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved the Llaethliw range. They consistently produce excellent wines year after year, and we've already talked about how vintage after vintage can be so different depending on the weather. And so I'm always happy to promote and
This is
plug
2022,
Llaethliw.
did you say?
This is 2020.
Oh, 2020?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And it's got this really gorgeous kind of blackberry, plummy, cassis. Like you say, it's got way more body than you would expect from a cool climate.
100%.
red.
It's when we started talking about what these grapes were like, this is not what I was expecting to taste.
I'm glad that it's a surprising wine, because that's the whole point, is just getting it out there, forcing people to try. I'm forcing you, obviously.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, there's so much
cheese down me.
So much reluctance here.
Yeah.
I would say so far, this to me is the most surprising wine we've had.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this doesn't. If someone said, "What part of the world is this produced in?" I would not. I mean, I would think somewhere I'd holiday in for nice weather as opposed to
West Wales.
Yeah.
Specifically West Wales, Llaethliw.
I've noticed quite a lot recently in bars I've been in, and you know, I like a wine bar. There is quite a trend now for chilled reds.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, Sarah, this one could be chilled.
Well, I did chill this down for about 20 minutes before we opened it. Did you not notice?
No.
So
I mean, this is a point in time right now when we're recording this where it's literally 32 degrees today. So
it is pretty warm.
Chilled does not last.
No.
Right
Yeah. So there is this like 20-20 rule that you could follow, which basically means you would put your red in the fridge for 20 minutes before you're about to open it, and you take your white out of the fridge 20 minutes before you're about to open it, because I think people get their temperatures wrong. Now there is probably like a proper science to this, and I go by cold, coldy cold, chilled, slightly chilled, and just leave it as it is.
Yeah.
So the thing about red wines is people assume that you shouldn't be chilling them down at all, but I mean, I spent so much time in Spain, and it's a common thing that they would do is they'll put their red wines in an ice bucket and they serve it. Yeah, they serve it to you from an ice bucket.
And I was just going to say, like, when I visited friends in Spain, they keep their reds, especially after they've opened it, that keeps it from going off, but they'll serve reds chilled. Not all reds. And that, I think the first time I had a chilled red was when I was visiting friends in Spain, and it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, if it's that hot, do you want to drink a red wine that is the same temperature as bathwater? Because that's what it is. If it's a really hot day, you do need to chill it down. And people are obsessed with the notion that you have to serve red wines at room temperature. But then you don't actually take into consideration that the room temperature changes. So in the middle of winter, do you want it to be chilled, or when it's warmer, do you want it to be warm? So it is something that is worth looking into.
And it does really change the taste of a wine, that like if it's cold or room temperature or somewhere in between.
Well, so my take is flavour as well, because I don't like fridge tomatoes because they taste of nothing. I don't
never put your tomatoes in the fridge.
I totally agree.
Ever.
We agree on this. We agree on the wine. We agree on the tomatoes.
We agree on far more than you think, my friend.
Cheese, room temperature. Because if you have that straight out of the fridge, you can't taste cheese either. So my point is, if you've got something too cold or too hot, you can't taste it. So I think to have it just kind of...
Yeah, and I think with red wines, people are scared to try and chill things because there are such things as summer reds. And the thing that you need to know about chilling reds is it brings out the tannins, because it can make the reds feel more bitter. So if you've got quite a bitter wine or quite a tannic wine in the first place, then chilling it is just going to make it feel a little bit more unpleasant and astringent. So if you've got wines, like I mentioned earlier, like a Gamay or a Frappato or a Welsh wine, you can chill them down, and it is just going to make them feel fresher and nicer to drink, especially on a warm day, without kind of ruining the texture or making it seem a little bit unbearable in any kind of way.
Well, it's not going to harm the wine, so you might as well give it a go. So if you have a red that you're not that fussed on, maybe pop it in the fridge just to see if you like it. So if you're like me and it's like, oh, you've got no chill, maybe just get some chill and you might like it.
Do you want us to put you in the fridge? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right now, please.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, please. I'll come with you.
Yeah, please.
So Rondo and Regent are fantastic wines. We've tasted that now. We're enjoying it. There are plenty of other interesting wines in Wales. Cab Franc now is grown. White Castle. We're experimenting with all sorts of things. But I guess my summary would be that we can do red wine in Wales, and this is testament to that. So
I mean, it makes sense for a country that for hundreds of years has made excellent cheese. It's about time we make excellent wine to go along with it. Because why not? Because why not?
Why not?
Because if it grows together, it goes together. So we do cheese, let's do wine.
Yeah.
And we do.
Absolutely. And they both go very well together, these two. So yeah, very, very good. So just a shout out then to Llaethliw for another banging wine. This red one is delicious.
Yes.
Our new friend at Enoteca Worldwide.
So when you pop in to see Sara to buy a bottle from Vin Van Cymru, also pop into Enoteca to get yourself some lovely
new neighbour
Welsh cheese, and you've got yourself a great night in.
So that's us done. We've all very much enjoyed that. If you could follow us on Instagram, Uncorked Welsh Wine, and wherever you get your podcasts, if you could just like and subscribe. Whenever our latest episode comes out, it'll pop up in your feed. And please, most importantly, tell your friends, because we all know people who like wine have many other friends who like wine and will listen to this podcast. So thank you very much for listening again.
Iechyd da.
Iechyd da.